that's bad for our image, but I don't give a damn.
Summertime. Not gonna think about the dark clouds. I'm just basking in the shine. One for all and all for one. No other fighting overcomes. Today is better than any day that's come before. And if the rain begins to fall, I won't feel it at all. Let's live it like we mean it. And it feels like summer in October. And I hope this day is ever over. And it feels like summer in October to me. Decide not to complicate. But I'm taking life for granted for forever and a day. Like it was broken from the start.
Hello everyone and welcome to Fest Lotto Pod, the game where no one wins. I'm your co-host Justin Hensley.
I'm your other co-host Dylan Hensley.
I'm your co-host Cory.
And your other co-host Lauren.
And we are coming to you from Fest 17 in Gainesville, Florida. This is...
It's a live pod.
Yeah, essentially. Well,
Yeah.
Not really. It's not going
no
out
audience.
live.
We're here live.
Yes.
Yeah.
In person. This is actually the first time we've recorded an episode in person. Normally we do it over Skype, but we decided to take advantage of being in town and actually record a podcast together. And we decided we should have some friends with us because...
What's Fest for?
Yeah.
There might be some background noise.
Yes, we are recording it from our hotel room, so the audio fidelity isn't going to be the highest quality. So, how's everyone's fest been?
It's been good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Fest is awesome.
Yeah.
Even on the years where, we've talked about this a little bit, even on the years where maybe the lineup isn't what you would want it to be,
Yeah.
Fest is still awesome.
Yeah, this year's lineup was interesting. It didn't have as many big recognizable names, I feel like, and a lot of repeat names for the rest of them, but I don't know. I've been having fun all weekend. I've still seen a ton of bands already at this point, so...
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have like a very large list of bands to watch, so I tagged along for most of the bands that Justin was seeing, and I've been, surprised by some new bands that I hadn't heard of, wasn't familiar with, so that's always kind of one of the perks of Fest, because I've definitely been to Fests where I saw like a ton of bands that I'd never heard of, and then went home and like had a whole bunch of new bands to listen to. So there's always something to see. There's always something you're going to be at least a little bit interested in.
Yeah.
How do you approach building your Fest schedule? And has it changed since like your first Fest?
Probably. Yeah, the Fest app itself is a fairly recent thing, right? It's maybe 5 or 6 years.
4 or 5 years, yeah.
Yeah, I think they started it probably my first year, Fest 12.
Maybe.
I think that's probably right, the first year, or maybe the year before that.
Because it used to be you'd get the paper schedule with the map on it, and then you just had to read that thing all day long to remember where everything was and what time they were.
By the end of the weekend, it was very wet from being in your pocket all weekend. Yeah, and you had like your hour, your own. I would take all the times that I was trying to see things and write them down, like try and make it a little bit more manageable.
Yeah.
Just what you wanted to see, just your list, and
Yeah,
not the whole thing.
But our first couple of years too.
I would print them out at work and then highlight everything. You would do pre-work at home before we left.
I would do that too.
Because the thing about Canada is that we just don't get a lot of these bands, especially in the early years. Like all of these bands that I loved, that I really wanted to see, they would never come to Canada. There was no chance of seeing it. So we always felt like we really had to cram everything in. I think our first fest we saw about 40 bands.
Wow.
Yeah, because and that was just like booking it from
Yeah.
venue to venue just to make sure that we got where we wanted to be.
Yeah. I've probably seen roughly the same amount every year. Some years maybe I had a few more than others. Maybe in the early days when the lines were a lot worse, like you'd waste more time just standing in line, so you didn't quite see as many. But starting with like Fest 9 maybe, it like opened up a lot. Yeah, like I used to do the same thing. I would do like a Word document at home and just like type all up and like look at everything. And then when you got to Fest, they would change the schedule on half the bands, and everything would be up 30 minutes earlier.
That's the benefit of the app, that they give you those schedule updates.
Yeah.
In more or less real time.
I when I'm making my schedule now, I just put anything that I'm remotely interested in, even if I know I'm probably not going to see them. Like, I've had Radon on my list every year since I've been coming to Fest, and I don't think I've ever actually seen them.
This is the year we're seeing Radon.
Maybe.
So you say.
For us, it's the only thing in that time slot.
Yeah, but it's also pretty late, isn't it?
No, it's only like 10 o'clock. I am seeing Radon. We saw the Radon guys at the Comedy Showcase, and they had copies of their new LP.
Yeah,
so
which is, Deadberg put that out, which is funny.
Yeah.
Seems like an odd label choice.
I'm excited to have a physical copy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's your ritual when it comes to like once you get here to Fest? Like, what are the things you have to do?
Okay, so we arrive in Gainesville, and literally the first stop is El Indio.
Yeah.
For a tempeh burrito.
Yeah, because tempeh is just not a common menu item in Canada.
No. And they do it well.
It's not an option for us.
Where do you fly into? Jax?
It varies depending on the price point.
Yeah.
It's either Jacksonville, Tampa, or Orlando.
This year was the first year we went to Jacksonville in a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, lately it's been Tampa.
And have you ever done pre-Fest?
No.
No, we used to do the pre-fest shows when 1982 was still a venue.
Oh yeah, the unofficial.
Because we used to come even a day earlier. We used to come
Tuesday night?
No, Wednesday. We used to come Wednesday morning because then they would do 2 days of pre-fest at 1982. The Measure would always play in Orlando the night before at that skate park that they used to do pre-fest at, and then they'd come for Thursday night at 1982. But 1982 is not a venue anymore. I think they still do a couple unofficial pre-fest shows, but I don't think they're as big a deal as they were maybe a decade ago.
Yeah, I think.
Are they still there? I thought they had closed in something.
Oh, 1982's gone.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's like a bike shop now. They do some unofficial pre-fests in like Tallahassee because we know some people who played it. So
we've never gone to official pre-fest though.
No.
5 days of fest is a lot.
Yeah, and do you remember the year there was the extra day of
I
Fest?
was just gonna say the same thing.
That was the first pre-fest year, wasn't it?
It was
6 days of fest.
That's
Pre-fest,
insane.
and then a whole 4 days of fest.
There is such thing as too much fest.
I remember that year we had a lot of downtime just because we were like, there's too many bands.
It was so spread out.
And
the bands you actually wanted to see were spread out over 4 days instead of 3.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, and I'm just exhausted after the 3 days, so like I can't imagine doing 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, I texted you this morning. There's gonna be some groggy third morning of fest voice on this. Have there been any surprises that maybe bands you didn't know or bands you didn't know were gonna be as good as they were?
Sincere Engineer was kind of a surprise, like the size. I mean, I wasn't really familiar with them. I heard a little bit, but then like the size of the crowd, like people were really into it.
It was jammed in there.
It was.
Yeah.
There's a lineup. I was stuck in a lineup to get in briefly because I tried to donate blood, and so I had to follow Cory there later.
I had a corn dog, I fell asleep. I feel weird now, I had a bad dream about you and me. It's been a few days, I took a shower, watching TV and fed the sunflower. I'm still learning how to be. And what am I supposed to do now? What am I supposed to do now?
feel like you need to tell more of that story.
I know. Can I tell it?
Yeah.
So, outside of Go Dillinger, there was a woman in a lion costume or a cat costume.
Yeah, like one of those big fabric
Yes,
cat
she
masks.
was encouraging people to donate blood. So I asked if people from outside of the U.S. could donate blood, and she said yes. All blood is welcome. Anyone. So then she led me back to the trailer.
I went to see Sincere Engineer.
Yeah. I just really wanted to donate blood if I could. So he went to see Sincere Engineer. I went back to the trailer, went in, and there were 3 nurses. I gave one of the nurses my passport so she could enter all of my information into the system. And she was really getting hung up on the address. Well, what's your zip code? Well, we don't have a zip code. It's called the postal code. Okay, but what state do you live in? I live in Ontario because I'm from Canada. So is Canada part of the United States?
What?
I said no. Canada is a separate country above the United States. So the second nurse confirmed I could not donate blood, and then the third nurse came in, and the third nurse questioned me again and said, okay, well, are you sure? Because there are some people who get confused because there's Niagara Falls in the States and Niagara Falls, Canada.
But you don't live in Niagara Falls.
No, I said, well, as it happens, I do live very close to Niagara Falls. I live about 15 minutes away. And she goes, okay, but you consider yourself Canadian? I said, yes, I'm Canadian.
You consider yourself.
So after that, it was confirmed by all 3. I cannot donate blood, and I was sent on my way.
They need to tell the lady outside to not send international people in.
I said,
well, is Canada really international?
Are you sure?
I know.
I wouldn't want to give my blood if they didn't know Canada wasn't part of the United States.
These women, you think they're trained. They're trained to be nurses. They've had a formal education.
Were they young?
You're going to have a hard time finding a vein.
Youngish, they were in their maybe late 20s, early 30s, early to mid 30s.
Too old. I'd be concerned if a 15-year-old told me that.
Yeah.
Is Canada part of the United States? That's crazy.
The 52nd state.
Are you sure?
I wonder if that's the Florida education system at its finest there.
Well, the lady in the cat costume, as she was walking me to the trailer initially, she said, I love Canada. Y'all are so smart up there with your schools and your education. I said, thank you.
We don't got none of those down here.
You have schools in Florida.
There's a really big one down the road.
Yeah, a major university.
It has a top-notch medical program, I
Yes.
kind of understand.
Pretty well-known school. For a state college, especially.
Yeah, I've known some pretty smart people who went to the University of Florida, so...
That's insane.
So you missed most of Sincere
So yeah,
Engineer.
that's the Sincere Engineer. So when I finally got there was a lineup to get in, and I was surprised.
I was very surprised. I didn't realize they were as popular as they were. It reminded me of when I saw the Messengers at the Atlantic at Fest 8. That room was packed. And they hadn't really blown up yet. And I guess the rest of the larger punk community hadn't found out about the Messengers yet. But they were already huge in Gainesville or for the fest. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that. Did they say it was their first full band performance?
Yeah, I think that Deanna played here solo last year,
Mm-hmm.
and she's playing solo again today, but yeah, I think it was their first full band fest.
Yeah. Other surprises. We saw Expert Timing. They were really good. They had like a brand new album this week. It came out like on Tuesday. And the crowd was pretty solid for them too.
People were into it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It maybe wasn't a huge crowd, but there was like an energetic crowd, so...
Yeah, they were really fun. What else do we see?
What was that band I really liked? The squash band.
Oh, the Eradicator.
Oh, the Eradicator. I really enjoyed that a lot.
dozens. I'll be at the top of the world. When you fall, you're gonna fall again. Yeah! When I walk down the street, I don't hear my name. No one understands me, but they must respect me when I'm on the court with my mask. Back up the cab, like stairs in my wares. No one seems to speak about my game.
So that's direct hit members, right?
Members of Direct Hit. I don't know too much about the band because a friend of mine just got me into them pretty recently. And yeah, but from what I understand, it's members of Direct Hit, based off of the Kids in the Hall sketch, The Eradicator, about squash. And it is a squash themed punk band.
I loved it. I had a smile, like a huge smile on my face the whole time.
Such an odd concept for a band. Isn't there another band named after a Kids in the Hall sketch?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably.
I can't think of
There's enough of them. There's got to be one.
Oh, Handsome Boy Modeling School. they're a hip hop duo and with like Dan the Automator. And,
Oh yeah.
that's what it was.
But the Eradicator, they pull the joke off so well because the music is really good.
Yeah.
Like if it wasn't a squash band, it would still be good.
Yeah.
But the squash jokes just make it a little extra fun, a little extra good. They were playing before and in between songs. They had pre-recorded squash sounds, like rackets hitting a ball in an echoey room.
I saw a ton of those shirts around, especially on Friday. It's like everyone wanted to make sure that you knew that they were an Eradicator fan.
I would say it was a comparable crowd to Sincere Engineer.
Yeah.
And that surprised me as well. I didn't think that it would be that well attended.
Yeah. We got to do actually a cool mystery band set this year. We got in to see Dead to Me at the Atlantic.
We did as well.
Which was super fun because they've played the main stage a couple years in a row now, and
Yeah. I've only seen Dead to Me in a club like that when Jack wasn't in the band anymore, was he? Because
was that when Sam was in the?
I think that big tour with like.
Oh right.
It was like Off of Their Heads right before.
Was
Dead
it
to
right?
Me.
It was a big show.
It was a really big tour.
Yeah.
And then there was like a logo on it too.
No, and Cheap Girls played that show.
Did they?
It was, or was it Dear Landlord?
I think it was Dear Landlord.
It was like leading up to Fest, and
It's a big tour.
they combined two tours,
Yeah.
like for the Charlotte date.
Yeah.
I can't remember who all, there were like 5 bands on it though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Off of Their Heads was one of them. Yeah.
Stacked bill.
Off
Yeah.
Their Heads played all of Hospitals on that show.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And Patty was there, I guess, with The Arrival.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's when Off of Their Heads put out that that picture disc with like the van on fire,
Yep.
and they did the Cleveland Bound Death Sentence covers on it.
Yep.
Right.
Patty was there, and people were yelling at the band to play it, and then like to get Patty in there to come sing those songs too, but no one could find him. They're like, he's probably outside talking about some Japanese hardcore bands. They played the songs, but not with Patty.
Yeah.
That Dead to Me set was one of my favorite moments of the weekend too.
Yeah. And they played my favorite material from them too. Like it was mostly Cuban Ballerina. They did Little Brother. Wanna Die in Los Angeles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else that was?
We were there so early that we heard them warming up with Tune It Out and Comforting the Disturbed. But they were sounding a little sloppy.
Yeah.
So I wondered, because I had really hoped they would play those 2 songs, but I wonder if they cut them because they weren't feeling up to it.
Yeah.
Did you go see their full band or the Bo Diddley set?
No, we were there, and then they were taking too long to start because Jack said that they didn't have an hour of material to play. They had an hour set, and they had some technical problems to start. So by the time we left, they were supposed to start about 15 minutes ago, and Jack said that they were going to take 5 more minutes. So we went and saw Sincere Engineer instead, and I'm glad we did. I did want to see an expanded Dead to Me set, But I also knew that Sincere Engineer is not coming to Canada anytime soon.
They probably weren't going to play much more.
They probably weren't.
You know, maybe one or two more songs. Because they don't play really anything off of African Elephants or Moscow Penny Annie anymore.
That's a shame, because Moscow Penny Annie, that record is so good.
It was. I was surprised. I mean, when Jack came back in the band, I guess Sam left, so
Yeah.
they don't feel the need to play those songs. I don't know.
Those chicken songs, though, they're still worth playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm happy Jack's in the band. I mean, that's my favorite version of Dead to Me.
for sure.
And, like, Toy Guitar a few years ago were great, too. That was last year and the year before. I wish they were playing, too, but I guess he couldn't get the rest of the band
Yeah.
to come out.
We got into the Reviver set, too, on Friday, the mystery band set.
Oh, yeah.
But we were kind of to the side, and we couldn't actually see the band at all.
That sounds great.
You want to stop for a few minutes?
It's probably.
Sorry, I had to vacuum.
I don't know. We don't have to stop. I'm sure
We can talk over it.
we've got a...
Your guys' hotel room is
weeder.
really messy. I really need a vacuum.
It's a leaf blower, I believe.
You had some leaves in here, too.
We had to, you know, have you ever been to like a club where they use the leaf blower to like clean up all the cans and like cups from the floor?
I've never seen that.
What was the Reviver set? It was, I guess they don't still have the 2 full lengths, but did they talk about anything new? Or
Yeah,
play
they
anything?
played.
3 new songs at least.
Yeah.
3, 4 new songs.
Yeah,
That's
we
cool.
saw them again yesterday at Bo Diddley as well,
Mhm.
so we could actually look at the members of the band. And I think they played new songs again.
They did, yeah.
They sounded really good. They
Yeah.
said they are done recording a new album.
Cool.
Yeah.
It's about time, because it's been quite a few years since the last full length they put out.
Yeah, 4 or 5 probably.
Yeah. I was in my old apartment when that album came out, and I've been in the place for at least 3 years, so it's probably been about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah. What'd you guys see yesterday?
Yesterday, we saw a bunch of comedy, a bunch of
Yeah.
stand-ups. We saw Adult Magic at Boca Fiesta. They were really good. We didn't see it.
We didn't. Yeah.
We saw Roswell Kid. They were fun.
We went to the At the Drive-In cover set.
At the drive-thru.
At the drive-thru.
That's so good.
Who was that band? Was it anybody?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think it was formed specifically to do the cover set,
Yeah.
but I wasn't sure who they were.
I don't know who they are either. Their guitarist kept talking about how he started the band to play with his brothers.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was a real Fest Bros band.
Yeah.
But they were faithful covers. They were good.
Yeah.
The crowd was really into it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did they sound like them? I mean, so they sounded.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
They weren't sloppy.
Yeah.
And then who else did we see? We saw a bunch of comedy. We saw a little bit with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen the Copyrights before, but yesterday they were doing North Sentinel Island in full. And I like the Copyrights, alright.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved that set yesterday.
Yeah.
They were so good.
Huh.
I need to spend some more time with that record. I don't think I've listened to it enough to be able to fully appreciate the set.
Yeah, I've never really got into the Copyrights. I mean, I've liked what I've heard, but I've just never really tried out any albums by them.
Yeah, I think that's the same for me. It just hasn't really stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like to go back to it because that was one of my favorite sets from yesterday.
Yeah.
And then we saw the Lawrence Arms.
How were they?
They were good.
Yeah.
They were drunk. Very drunk.
Brendan was real drunk. They had some technical issues, but the song sounded good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't go see them because they don't play any old material, right? Like the oldest they go is like Oh Calcutta, as far as
They went a little bit before that.
yeah.
They did 100 Resolutions. They played a couple old songs, not much.
Mm-hmm.
Most of it was pretty heavy on Oh Calcutta,
Mm-hmm.
Metropole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the one between Cocktails and Dreams. Is that what it's called?
Was that a comp though?
Oh, I don't know.
I think that's a comp.
Maybe.
I can't remember.
Yeah. I'm mainly familiar with the earlier stuff, like Apathy and Exhaustion.
Yeah, I don't think they played anything off Apathy and Exhaustion, which is a bummer because that record's really good.
Yeah.
I love Old Calcutta.
Yeah.
And they did play a lot off Old Calcutta, and they played the good songs off Old Calcutta, which are most of them.
Yeah, and Greatest Show on Earth, and those are probably the ones I listen to the most. That and Guided Tour Chicago. Yeah.
And then right after that, we did The Reason We Are Here Today.
Yeah.
Before we do that, can I give you a gift?
Sure.
Okay, I told you that I had a gift for you.
Yeah.
To present to you on air that would tie into last week's episode. So last week you did the Pleasure Leftists.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. I'd never heard that band.
Yeah.
I didn't know them. I knew the name. When you started playing them, I thought it was from the 80s.
Yeah.
It sounded really cool. And then you said they were from Cleveland. And, well, I'll let you open this, and I think you'll understand why I got this. I found this for you on our first day when we got into Gainesville, when we went to Arrow's Aim before everyone else got there.
Yeah.
And they had a bunch of 7-inch bins. They had probably four really full bins of 4 for $1 7-inches. And I grabbed this out of there for you.
So, let's see what it is. It is the Homostupids. Not sure what their name actually was referring to.
So you were right. It is the Homostupids. And I was surprised when you said you had never heard them. I know that Cleveland hardcore, I don't love hardcore. I especially don't really love Cleveland hardcore. But I love the Homostupids. And I do understand why they never really got anywhere beyond a couple 7-inches and a couple LPs. They didn't really get them a lot of attention. They are super abrasive.
Yeah.
But they're also really funny and really worth listening to. They've got... So this 7-inch, Cat Music, is great. And they have 2 LPs. Their first LP, The Intern, is like 9 or 10 songs of difficult to listen to punk. It's it kind of puts you a little bit in a state of panic to listen to them, but that's a feeling worth digging into every once in a while. So that's a really good 7-inch. I hope you like it.
Yeah, I'll give it a listen.
I was really happy to find it.
Yeah, is it Homo sapiens that they're making this stupid?
I don't think it's meant as a slur.
Because I believe first time I heard their name was in association with Clock Cleaner. Clock. I was combining Frog Hammer and Clock Cleaner. We had a split together, so because they did a split with them, or maybe a tour or something with them, and and Clock Cleaner is abrasive and does say some offensive things from time to time. So I was like, I don't know what the name means, but I thought you were gonna give me like a 9 Shocks Terror or 7 or something.
No, I couldn't find that.
That's awesome. We'll play a little clip of the Homostupids in here then, because we don't really have any recordings of the band that sound very good.
Yeah.
So, the normal version of the show, we use a random number generator to determine what we're going to talk about. And
we go to the Rate Your Music charts and figure out the year and the album number and EP number.
Yeah. And I believe, Lauren, you came up with the idea.
No, I didn't. It was Cory.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
To do
I think you might have built on the idea.
I did?
to do like a live, a fest version of this, where here's how we decided what we were going to do. We all looked at our schedules to see who had what times were open for all of us, and then we took all of the bands that were playing in that time, and then assigned them a number, and put them in a number generator, and then went to that venue and watched that band perform.
And we found a band that none of us knew, none of us knew about before.
Right.
So we had no prior expectations. I don't know about you two, but we didn't look them up beforehand.
I had looked them up, but I had completely forgotten what they were.
Okay. So I probably did the same thing because you and I had been talking about going through the Fest site and listening to everything.
Yeah.
There's a good chance that I heard the first 5 seconds and turned it off.
Yeah. I do that a lot. Nope.
I make very quick judgments.
What I did this year was I just looked at the band photo, and if it was all white guys, I said, next.
An also valid way of...
There were so many
sifting
bands to
through.
choose from, because otherwise you're going to sit there and listen to 300-400 bands just to find 3 you like.
Yeah, and I do appreciate that about Fest, that they don't make it... Well, you overheard someone say... you overheard some people talking, what's with all these goths in town?
Oh, no, that was on a Facebook thread.
Oh, okay.
It was
How
a
you
thread
heard it?
about overheard conversations.
Oh.
And it was, I thought this was really funny. It was someone saying, what's with all these goths? And their companion said, oh, there's a pop punk festival in town.
But it's not just a pop punk festival.
No,
There
and
is something for everybody.
this and the band we wound up
Demonstrated
with
by
is the
the artist we landed on.
so the band is Liquid Limbs.
Your pupils get lightning white. And sight said you're not yourself. Feel the anti-sacred shine. Your brain grew teeth and ate itself. Bleed. One without enough. Bleed. One who you admire. Bleed. One who lives to walk. Go on. Bleed. One who you admire. Mortals mattering less than waste. You reach beyond length for right within wrong.
And
They're from Florida.
they are from Florida. Are they
Kind of figured they
Gainesville?
Yeah, so as we were watching them, I just had the thought before I looked it up, this band sounds like Florida. And I can't really describe what that means. I was trying a little bit last night to you. I can't really describe why I had that sense, but I just had the sense that this band has got to be from Florida. And I looked, and they're from Gainesville and St. Augustine.
Yeah.
I felt vindicated.
Listening to them, I was like, this feels like an old Fest band. Like, it feels like a band that would have played like Fest 7 or 8. And they've been around since 2004.
I think I remember seeing album art at one point. I didn't look this up to confirm it, so I can look later. I should have done that. But I feel like I remember some album art involving an octopus.
I don't know, because I only saw the title of the album, and it was called... Where'd it go? Orquid?
Okay. Do they only have one album?
Yeah, they only had one full length, as far as I could tell, and that was
Okay.
2008.
Well, do we want to talk a little bit about the band?
Yeah. That was,
They were a bass and drum duo.
a 6-string bass.
Maybe we should preface this with... I don't know. Did you love it?
There were like I feel like every song had like a part that I was into. I was like, that's a pretty good groove, or like, that's a cool little riff, but that was about it.
Okay.
It wasn't anything I enjoyed overall.
Because the drummer was wearing a Soundgarden shirt,
Mm-hmm.
and for the first song at least, I couldn't not think about Soundgarden, and I don't like Soundgarden.
They don't really sound anything like Soundgarden.
Not really, but I couldn't, it was the shirt, I just couldn't get it out of my head.
What did you think of? Did you like them? Did you dislike them? Or
I feel like we should preface this by saying that as I was keeping notes of this, I was kind of thinking I wasn't enjoying it, and I don't wanna rag on them
yeah,
just because it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of like externally funny things happening as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
There was. So, I mean, for the purpose of a good podcast, I really didn't like them.
yeah.
It was only a half an hour set, and I probably checked the time 15 times.
What would you call that style? It's like, it's definitely heavy.
I mean, I would just generally call them like a sludge or like a noise rock band.
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely have that, like, Melvin's influence.
I kept thinking about Don Caballero
Kind of in the drumming.
in the
I
drumming.
can hear that.
Yeah.
And like the jerky stop and start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the way the drummer was drumming,
I
he looked like he was drumming like Damon from Don
Yeah.
Caballero.
I
A lot of
that
arms flying
drummer
all over the place.
was having a blast playing because like his face was just so lit up and super excited to be playing these drums as hard as he possibly could.
But in between songs,
I thought he was going to die in between songs. It looked like he was going to vomit or just die.
he would just put his head down on the snare.
Yeah, I didn't hate it. I didn't like it.
I feel like by that style, like by the standards of that style of music, which I'm a little familiar with, listen to like sludge and doom and stuff like that a lot in the past. I feel like they had some good ideas, but it was just kind of like they really had the one thing, which is that they were a bass and drum
Yeah.
band. And I did appreciate, I feel like his vocals were, like, directly influenced by classic Sabbath Ozzy.
Oh.
And I feel like he actually did a good job of it.
I went a different way with that.
Really?
Yeah. So I thought he, at some points, not throughout the whole set, but at some points, and the band did not sound anything like the Minutemen, but I found like he had the cadence of Mike Watt or D. Boone. Just the way he was, like his phrasing, the way he was,
I could see that.
the way he was putting the words into the song. It had, to me, it had a very Minutemen-esque cadence to the vocals.
I could see that a
Yeah,
little bit.
I mean, I was getting just like a Chicago noise rock vibe mainly, like not so much shellac, but you know, in that vein.
People were really into it. That's the thing. It's totally not my thing.
Yeah.
I would never listen to a band like that. I find it hard to imagine other people sitting down and listening to that. But I also know that taste is subjective.
Yeah, that was one of the. I noticed they put a lot of the heavy bands in there because there aren't a ton this year as far as. I think 8 Seconds had the other ones for the night. That's where like Torch was playing.
Yeah.
And
Mets.
and yeah.
Did you write down any of the singer's quotes? Because his in-between quotes were pretty good.
I didn't write them down because I knew you were gonna get some.
This song is about wizards and witchcraft, but on a molecular level. It's called De-Extinction. This song is called The Unfortunate Effects of Gravity. Sorry, this song is about the unfortunate effects of gravity. It's called Long Ass Balls.
And then at the end of that song, he said, "My wife says there's an operation for that." I noticed he would do that. He would say the thing at the beginning of the song, and then at the end of the song, he would say more about that, as if we were having a conversation while the song was playing. It's like, I don't know what you're singing. I can't tell what you're saying in these lyrics.
I also thought it was really funny when during the last song, the singer pretended to flop his nipples around.
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I missed that.
He just like
He just went like this.
let go of his bass and he just grabbed him and just went like wiggled his arms.
I thought that was really funny. What about the externally funny things? Because at one point, a couple sidled up along in front of us, and they were having a very difficult time.
There was specifically the guy.
I wrote it down as drunk skeleton and a wobbly man holding one another up had just come in.
And then she left him, and he was having a very difficult time standing up. It felt like the drunkest person I'd ever seen still upright, you know? He tried to send a text. He spent
For so long.
like the entirety of a song.
Is he the one when as soon as they stopped, he just kind of just like tilted?
He tilted and just started going towards the bar.
They came in sharing a PBR, so they were still actively drinking.
I watched him. He tried that same word on that phone, and I don't think he ever got past the first word of that text.
I couldn't see what he was trying to type, but I could see that you were really enjoying watching him trying to do
Watched
it.
him for the entirety of the song.
When the skeleton came back, also, she was moving really funny. She was at one point just swaying with her eyes closed, and another time they were really enjoying the music, and she was kind of jerking around, but only the top half of her body. Like, her legs were staying almost perfectly still, and just her torso was, like, just really wiggling around.
Yeah, that room was very drunk. I've never seen that. At Fest, they definitely were the most plastic cups full of beer out of any set I saw all weekend there. It was interesting. I noticed there was a woman there, like, wearing her Lucy's outfit. Like, she'd just come from a shift at work.
Yes.
It's like, well, we just go to Dirty Nelly's and hang out after work. There's a heavy show here now. I don't think she had a Fest pass.
Yeah, I don't think that Dirty Nelly's is very strict about making sure people have their Fest passes to get in. Because there were some other people in there who just seemed like townies, like just drunk townies that hang out at Dirty Nelly's all the time, who just went and they let them in.
There's always one of those every year. There's like one club you'll go to and it's like, oh, the locals are here.
They're not supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy tickets at the door for some of these venues.
Some of them, yeah. Maybe Dirty Nelly's is one of them. They try to cover.
Do local people get a discount?
I don't know. I wouldn't imagine they would be like, pay $130 and you can come in. It's probably like $15 to $20, I bet, to get in.
Yeah.
And stay all day. Because I met a guy last year who went to the wrestling show. He only came for the wrestling show. Mm-hmm. So he paid to get in that one venue. So yeah, I guess people do it. I'm assuming only locals.
The guy who works at the front desk was really excited to see, at the hotel we're staying at, was really excited to see Lagwagon.
Yeah.
I hope he made it. He said it was his favorite CD of all time.
Not album.
Not album, CD.
I wonder if he was the Lagwagon dude we saw wearing a Lagwagon t-shirt and Chuck Taylors and
like shorts.
Yeah.
And like he had on a backwards hat, baseball hat, and he had on his like aviator sunglasses.
Yeah.
At night. It's like the lights aren't that bright. He was at Bo Diddley.
Yeah.
He was Lagwagging it up.
Yeah. I'm here for one band only.
Yeah, I leaned over to Justin and was like, that's what a Lagwagon fan looks like. I didn't know. I had a look.
But I think Lagwagon could still sell out a venue if you were in Quebec.
Really?
Yeah, for sure.
They're not Canadian, right?
No. But something about Quebec and punk in Quebec Lagwagon is just they're just there.
Fat Wreck is
They
still a
could
big
they could
deal.
sell out like they could have like a Montreal residency, like similar to a Las Vegas residency. They could pack the place like Lagwagon.
Crystal Ballroom. It's
They could have Lagwagon as the headliner and just like a rotating cast of openers, like 10-foot pole on Sundays. Real Big Fish still regularly headlines summer festivals in Quebec.
That's crazy. And that's awful. What's North Carolina's big sky? Oh, we have Squirrel Nut Zippers.
the swing.
Yeah, there's the swing
revival band.
Do they still headline?
No, I think they play like. I mean, they probably headline their own shows, but
Yeah.
they play like sporadic.
A Charlotte residency?
Yeah.
They're a Winston-Salem band, right?
No. I always thought they were like Durham, Raleigh. or
Yeah, I
something
don't
like that.
Are there any bands that you would go and see a residency show?
D4. Weaker Than.
A residency at the Triple Rock?
Yeah. Is it still there? Is
It's
that
gone.
Yeah, I'd go see quite a few residencies, I guess. If I knew it was going to be a different show every night.
Yeah, it'd have to be someone with a really big discography.
Yeah, like a Devo residency.
Yeah. I'd watch a Devo residency.
I say Devo because Dylan's wearing a Devo t-shirt right now. But
I'd watch a Springsteen residency.
yeah. Any punk bands?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm pretty good with a 40-minute set.
Yeah.
For most punk bands. Like, there's a few that could play an hour, and I'm good with that.
I think that's
Most
something.
bands, I don't want them to play too long.
That's something that's probably shifted for me as well, as we've been coming to Fest longer and longer. That when we first started coming, yeah, I'll watch Banner. Like, give me a 2-hour Banner Palette set,
Yeah.
I'll watch it. But now I'm good with 20 minutes, half an hour.
Yeah, because like I do dislike when we go to Bo Diddley and it's like we got an hour. I'm like, oh, really?
We're gonna fill it.
It's a band that
you're gonna use
shouldn't
like
fill an hour.
like Flatliners played their entire set. Like they ran over their time. And I was like, what? Why? Why don't you do what Tenement did that one year and play for 15 minutes out of their hour-long set?
That was at 8 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was that the year that Patty wandered on stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just like is up there walking around,
Just drunk. Walking around the stage.
Because I think he did the same thing another year when they played. I think it was still Common Grounds, now High Dive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they did the same thing too. They played like 3 songs and they were gone.
Yeah.
Tenement is so good.
Were you with me one night?
We saw them in Charlotte.
It was Sean and Charlotte. And they played like 5 songs.
Yeah, they played just like a 15-20 minute set, and we were watching them because they had like a sax player and like they
Yeah.
had these extra people with them, and I'm like, when's the saxophone gonna play? And then he comes out last song and just goes like, like through the chorus, and they're all like shaking tambourines like these 3 or 4 other extra people on stage.
Do you
Like,
remember
he
when we-
rode on tour with you just to do that one thing.
Do you remember when we saw them at Common Grounds? And they had probably a half-hour set. They played for 15 minutes, but then they just left the guitars feedbacking for the rest of the 15.
Yes.
I remember waiting to see if anything else would happen. And then just once the 30 minutes hit, someone came out and flicked off the amp. Like, you're just being funny.
I saw Dan Sartain do that one time. He was opening for Against Me. It was him and Riverboat Gamblers opening for Against Me. And he thought he was having a terrible set because I messaged him about it years later on. No,
We
talked
talked to him when
in
we saw him
person.
again about that tour.
And it was just him. I think he had a drummer with him. But when his set was over, he did the exact same thing. He just laid his guitar against the amp and just let it feedback for like 5 minutes before somebody came out there and actually turned it off. And then we talked to him years later in a Charlotte show, and he was like, man, I thought I did terrible on that tour. Like,
Yeah.
nobody liked me at
It was
all.
like that tour shouldn't have happened or something like that.
He was a weird choice for that tour.
Yeah.
So sad.
It's got to be hard to open for Against Me, especially then. 'Cause
Yeah,
that
because
was
that was right.
New Wave. Had just
No. When I saw them, it was before New Wave.
Oh, really?
It was after, what was the one before? Is that
Searching for a Form of Clarity?
Yeah, I think it was
Oh,
around
that
that
one,
one, yeah.
Yeah, we did see them in Asheville
Mhm.
when New Wave came out. We saw.
I've seen Against Me a lot of times, and I don't even like them. Like, I've seen
never
them
been
like
that
4
into them.
times. They've just been on shows that I wanted to go to.
We've seen them a lot. We like
Yeah.
them.
I don't dislike them, I just don't listen to them. Have you noticed every year at Fest, there's always the bands that say, "Thank you, Gainesville! Thanks for having us!" And like they specifically are calling out Gainesville.
It's been a while since we've been to Gainesville.
And then we're all like, "We're not from here." They just think it's just a regular festival. Like, it's an Into Summer Weenie Roast or something like that.
Yeah,
No, people travel to
only
this.
locals come.
Some people came further than you did from, wherever you were last playing.
Yeah.
It's mainly main stage bands, I feel like, that do that.
They just fly in and fly out.
Yeah, because they don't even think of it as... They don't understand what Fest culture is and what all that actually entails.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, the bands... If it was a really bad year, I don't think we'd come.
Yeah.
But for us to come, they just have to be... It just has to be a kind of good lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely never want to stop coming to Fest, But I guess logically I'll have to be like, I don't like any bands who are playing this year. But I can always find somebody. So that's why I think I can always come.
And there's always El Indio and Reggae Shack.
Yeah, I know. It's worth coming just for Reggae Shack.
And friends.
Yeah.
We see you guys one weekend a year.
I know. What was your first Fest? Do you remember what year it was?
Yeah, Fest. I think this... So we've missed a couple years,
Yeah.
but I think it's been a decade of us coming. I
Yeah.
think we missed 2 years in there. We were trying to figure it out, and this is either our 8th or our 9th Fest.
Yeah.
And we started at either Fest 7 or 8.
We came the year after we got married.
So 2009?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so.
That would have been
So 9 years
8?
we've been coming.
Fest 8?
Fest 8.
Yeah.
We came Fest 8, I think was our first Fest.
I was at Fest 7, and I've been on it, all of them since then. I'm trying to remember when we met, because
We met Grant that year. And I think
That
we met
year?
you and Corey that year as
No,
well.
I don't think
No?
so.
Alright.
I know we met Grant.
You have a
I
better
think we
memory.
met you the next year. Because I remember this, we met Grant. We had a great chat with him in line at the No Idea house
Yard
sale.
sale,
Yeah. And then we left, and I said to Corey, like, "Oh, did you get his name or anything, like, to touch base with him?" And Corey's like, "No, that's just the magic of Fest," or something, some kind of answer like that. And then the next year, we were walking on the sidewalk.
We'll see him again.
And I saw Grant, and I turned around, and he turned around. I was like, "Corey, I think that was the guy from last year. You got to get his name this year." And we did. We saw him that year again in line, and then I think that's when we met you.
Because I remember when I met you, he introduced me as the friend who always sleeps through the yard sale and doesn't want to come to it.
I also remember that.
Because those were I went to the one at 7, and then I was just so tired for 8 and 9, so I was like, I'm just gonna stay here and sleep. And I didn't care to go. I didn't go back to it until our other friend started to come back to Fest with us, and then I would go to the yard sale with everybody. And they don't do that anymore.
No.
They don't do that anymore, no.
They started.
Well,
Well,
eventually,
it's barely a label anymore, too.
yeah, and eventually they just started sending people to Arrow's Aim once
Mhm.
Arrow's Aim opened. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think
they would put the special No Idea releases in Arrow's Aim.
Mhm.
Like they had those Hot Water Music ones. Like last year or the year before.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
2 years
Those
ago.
special pressings.
Yeah, I mean, I think for a long time I did have that idea that it was just like, we'll see these people. I don't need to know their last names.
If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. It's
He'll
real-
come back to you.
Yeah, if you love something.
If you fest something.
Yeah, and I mean, I think I've kind of gotten over that because it is nice to have that lasting connection through the
Yeah.
year. Like, you and I talk daily now.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
know.
been something that's been really cool for me.
Yeah, because I remember I added Lauren, you on Facebook, Because I saw the notification for it today on Facebook for the anniversary. It was like, 1 year ago, you added friends today. So I'm assuming it was the Monday or after the fest or so. And then I remember adding you on Twitter, like maybe a week later. And
I didn't even know your last name.
I don't remember how I found your last name.
I've been meaning to ask you that.
No! Grant knew your last name because he had your email address.
Yeah, so for a long time, I just had Grant in my phone as Grant Fest. And our friends from Canada now as well, they live in a different province from us, but this is now their second trip down to Fest. They missed last year, but we met them 2 years ago, and Kyle and I, we talk often as well, and I still don't know his last name. I still have him in my phone as
We
Kyle
need to
Fest.
clear that up before the weekend's over.
I think I might just leave it at Kyle Fest.
Yeah, and even then, we didn't actually start talking on a regular basis until a few months ago, really. Maybe at the beginning of summer?
No, I think it's been a little longer than that.
A little longer than that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think we started DMing on Twitter for a while. We had a good DM thread going. And then I asked you if you had an iPhone.
Yeah.
Because I
So
can
you use iMessage.
I can only text via iMessage.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been fun because I realized I was like, I don't talk to him as often as I talk to you now.
Oh, I see.
None of my other friends ask me how my day is going.
I know at 10 o'clock, if you haven't sent it, I'm going to send it. How was your day text?
A lot of times you'll send it and I'll be at work and then it'll be 8 hours later and I'm like, oh, I should actually ask about his day to see what's going on.
Yeah, we definitely have a more mean-spirited friendship with our other friends.
It's very antagonistic.
I sent something to our Facebook message group about was it when I was at the airport? I think when I first got to the airport, and Grant just changed the subject
Immediately.
Away from Fest?
And I'm like, don't have a good flight. He's like,
rental car.
half the group isn't going.
Salty about it?
Well, it was by choice.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he made that decision.
So next year you should come, Grant.
Yeah, he won't.
You're not listening to this. Well, what are your plans for the last day of Fest?
We are going to eat more burritos.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then I don't know what else. We'll see. It's a little bit of a lighter schedule today.
Yeah.
We're gonna go see Sincere Engineer again. They're doing an acoustic set.
Mm-hmm.
And Iron Chic is always really fun.
Yeah.
I am excited to see Radon finally. I'm really excited to see Happy Accidents. I think you told me about them.
You sent them to me because you found them on the Fest page. But
Are they on your list too?
no, but I had found them through a Bandcamp, I think, a Labels Bandcamp, because I follow some of those, and I think I listened to it too. But they're not on my schedule. I've got a lot of Fest wrestling today. That's the majority of what I'm doing today. Yeah, Iron Chic's on mine as well. I'm going to try and go see Custody, who are a Finnish punk band. They're really good. And then Retirement Party at the Atlantic. They're really good.
I've got that on our list as well.
And Typesetter at the Woolly. They have a new album that just came out too. I have Radon on my schedule, but Sunday I get real sleepy about 10 o'clock.
Maybe this is the year.
Maybe. Yeah, it all goes to 11:20. That's not too late.
That's not too bad. You can make it to 11:20.
If we can get into Boca. You know how that is.
Yeah. Hopefully there's enough time.
Yeah. Well, seeing as we're a little over an hour now, anything else we want
to kind of wrap up, I guess?
Did we win this week?
We win?
We won in the sense we were at Fest. But I don't think our round of Punk Lotto necessarily was a winner.
I think maybe we won because of external factors. It was worth it to see the Wobbly Man.
Yeah. Just back and forth.
And then the skeleton ditched him at the end, too.
Yeah.
Because we saw her out in the street hugging some friends, but he was nowhere to be seen.
I wonder if they were even actually together then. Maybe he just, like, tagged along from the bar.
Maybe. Just asked her if she'd hold him up for a while.
We watched this... Before you guys showed up to the venue, we were standing outside of Flacco's, just hanging out, waiting to see people watching. We've been doing that a lot all weekend. There's so many people, going around. It's just plenty to see.
Yeah.
Feast for the eyes.
The locals and the festers too.
Yeah.
It's two different kinds of great people watching.
I've never really thought about this very much, but I've been looking a lot at people's patches. And this is not a well-developed thought, but there's just something really strange about the look of a very new patch. Like, I kind of feel like if you're gonna sew a DRI patch onto the back of your jean vest, you should maybe like bury it in your backyard for a year or so. Yeah. Just so like the quality of the fabric degrades a little bit, so it has a time to like sink into the denim.
It's always funny when you see somebody wearing like a brand new screen printed t-shirt.
Yeah.
We saw one guy that was like, that is bright ink. That thing was made this week.
Made for Fest.
Yeah.
So punk fashion, fest fashion has been really fun to look at.
Yeah, I mean, it changes all the time too.
And then sometimes doesn't.
Yeah. Did you notice that
There's the guy who does the mohawk every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who like shaves Fest into the side of his head.
Yeah,
And, like
that's a thing.
that look isn't good.
It also doesn't fit fest punk.
He's been doing that though since our first fest.
Has he?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I've always seen one, so
I've
I'm
always
assuming, I
seen
never
him.
pay attention.
I haven't seen him this year, but I'm glad to know he's still around.
Yeah, there's a
I've
guy
seen
walking around out there with a mohawk.
Oh, I did see a mohawk up Ojidley. That had to be him.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a lot.
No.
Yeah, I feel like there's like two max. Is that guy who always has the mohawk, and then
Well, the Exploited aren't playing, so then there's no reason.
Did either of you ever have a mohawk?
No.
no.
I did.
Did you? Was it a tall one?
No, I couldn't get it to stand up properly. I had really thick hair. Yeah, and it wasn't my mom wouldn't let me shave it thin enough. So it was a really wide, floppy mohawk. And at one point too, do you guys remember the cartoon Astro Boy?
Yeah.
At one point, because I just got so fed up of trying to spike it up that I made it like Astro Boy.
So you just like a front and the back? Sort
Yeah,
of?
I did that for a while, like too long.
How long was it? Like an inch or two? Or like...
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Wow.
A good little
It
unicorn
was
horn up there.
pronounced.
It was pronounced. But I had to like slick it forward this way and then slick it back.
To get enough hair to create the cone.
Yeah. I don't have pictures from that era.
I don't have very many pictures from my long hair era. It was maybe like a year and a half.
Yeah.
I have like 3 photos from that time period, and
You grew your hair out after I cut mine.
it was very weird.
Like, I had long hair for like 2 years in high school. Like, I just kind of like started growing it when I was 15. Like, I just stopped getting haircuts.
Yeah.
So it was like probably a little bit past my shoulders. And then I tried to trim it. And it just kept getting worse. Like, I had to keep fixing the other side until I had just like this bob. We had to go get my hair fixed the next day.
Yeah, mine was
And I just gave up on long hair. I just didn't grow it back out.
mine was pretty long. But I didn't try trimming it ever, so I didn't have that experience. It was pretty long.
I was very much, my mom won't let me be as punk as I want to be punk. Like, I really wanted to dye my hair fire engine red at one point.
Yeah.
I probably would have been, I don't know, 15 or 16. And my mom wouldn't let me do it unless I went to her hairdresser. Which was just like a a strip mall mom hairdresser, and I had to pay for it myself, and it was expensive. It was like $60 or $70.
Wow.
And I just came out with like...
Because it wasn't just a box of...
No.
It was professional.
I bought a thing of Manic Panic and my mom wouldn't do it for me. And so I walked out of there with like a mom maroon hair color. And it washed out really fast too.
Weird.
Yeah.
You paid $60 for it and it was gone.
Yeah. It wasn't good.
Do you have crazy hair?
No, not really. I dyed it a very dark blue. It skewed black almost.
Yeah.
That was about as much as I did.
Yeah, I didn't really get into punk until college, really.
Yeah.
Because we grew up in a Christian household and had to listen to Christian music.
Christian rock.
And
got into Christian metal.
a lot of Christian metal and a lot of new metal when we were younger.
Yeah.
Some POD there.
And then our neighbor was into like black metal and like
Yeah.
doom and stuff. So we just like went from like Christian metalcore to like black metal.
It was a pretty big leap in styles. Yeah, it wasn't until like college that I was like, now I'm gonna try all the punk bands I've heard about but never listened to. Whoa, Black Flag is awesome.
Yeah, so many burned CDs of just like 80s hardcore bands that you ripped from.
Yeah.
What was it?
Aries.
Aries, yeah.
Because my college, you couldn't have LimeWire, you couldn't have Kazaa or any of those like streaming or peer-to-peers.
Yep.
Aries was the only one they didn't block. So it was like, well, I guess I'm using this thing.
I've never even heard of Aries.
It was terrible. You just only could download like one MP3 at a time, and it was awful. But that's how I found a lot of punk stuff. And then I didn't really get into like more modern punk until I started hanging out with our friend Grant, and he would just make me like an MP3 CD with like a bunch of files of stuff on it. Like you put D4 in there and all kinds of stuff like that, and I've not looked back.
Thanks, Grant.
Yeah. He brought me to Fest that year, Fest 7, and I didn't know but maybe like 5 bands playing the whole weekend, and they were heavy bands. So it was like, I guess I'm gonna hang out here at the heavy club because these are the only bands I know. Yeah. It's been fun.
Yeah, I hope it keeps going.
Yeah, I'm hoping next year's lineup's a little more exciting.
Yeah.
Just
It'll be 18. It'll
Yeah.
be Fest is finally an adult, so
Fest can vote.
you can buy cigarettes.
Yeah.
You can buy lotto scratchers.
Yeah, there we go.
Fest still can't get into half Fest venues, though. What would Fest the person look like?
Let's see. Ooh, there'd be a couple different versions, right? Like there's the classic, which is the beard. What else?
Hat, beard,
band tee,
beer belly.
cargo shorts.
Yeah.
Some Asics or New Balances. But then there's also like a newer wave of Fest people, like the younger kids who are...
Do you notice the demographics have shifted at all?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's people our age, you know.
But like we've just kept getting older with Fest.
Yeah.
I haven't noticed too many younger people this year.
I think it depends on the set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like Roswell Kid had a lot of young kids there.
Cursive did not.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, like Sincere Engineer had a decent amount of younger people.
That's good. I just might not have been paying attention.
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I don't think overall, like just walking down the street, it's more like late 20s, early 30s. And
Yeah.
if not older, you know. I don't know. Hopefully it can stay alive.
That was that was something we were talking about. Like, it can always downscale. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to be huge forever.
15 venues or whatever.
Like, if they start to see, fewer people coming, they can always start, doing fewer venues and, fewer bands. And maybe just focus on, like, getting, like, some really big bands. And then...
Let's criticize the thing we're at.
Like, I don't know, yeah, I wonder how they should be able to do it indefinitely. I mean, there's always going to be punk bands. So
Yeah, it's just their own interest and their own motivation in keeping it going.
Yeah.
It's whoever's booking it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've built a really, even on the off years, they've still built a really special, important thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. I look forward to this all year.
Yeah.
Maybe not the week after Fest. I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm good. And then Christmas happens, but come January, February, when they're like, when are they going to start announcing Fest bands? That's when I get excited for it again.
We usually book our hotels
Yeah.
in January, February, because there's no commitment. You don't have to pay up front.
Yeah.
Just get it out of the way. A little excitement in the winter months.
Yeah, we should do that. Just like reserve it. Don't act like for this room. I went ahead and paid for it in advance, but we knew we were coming, so yeah. Oh, cool. I guess that'll do it for this episode. As always, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Punk Lotto Pod. We have an email, punklottopod@gmail.com. Our website is punklottopod.simplecast.fm. Rate, review, and subscribe. We have no ratings or reviews on...
So I gotta look into that because I definitely gave you a rating and a review.
Really?
I did.
Let's see if it showed up.
I did it on iTunes. I did it after your first episode.
I wonder if it takes a while to post.
Maybe.
Because
you guys mentioned that last week on last week's episode. And I have reviewed you. And I have rated you.
Because I've definitely looked at it since beyond the first week. Yeah, it doesn't show any.
Alright, I'll go back and do it again.
0 out of 5 stars. 0 rating.
Oh no, that was just my rating.
Oh.
I rated it really poorly.
Do you guys have
the
anything?
review is just sucks.
You have anything you want to plug? Any?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nothing to plug.
Yeah. All right then.
Well,
thanks for having us.
I guess we can plug our next episode.
All right. So we're recording these out of order. So the next week's episode will be The Punishment of Luxury. What was the name of that album? We recorded it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know.
I don't remember.
Not the Orchestral Maneuvers in the Dark album.
Shouldn't it be The Luxury of Punishment?
Laughing Academy.
Okay. Punishment of Luxury, Laughing Academy. And the EP is The Addicts, Lunch with the Addicts. Yeah. So that'll be next week's episode. So go listen to those before we talk. Well, we already talked about it. It's weird talking about stuff in the future when you've already done it.
Really inside baseball here.
Yeah. But, God, we never know how to end this. And if you listen to the show, at this point, you know we don't know how to end this show. So,
Bye.
Happy
last day of Fest.
Yeah. Have fun at Fest. Drink a PBR if that's your thing.
No one's going to hear this until after Fest.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you're at work right now listening to this podcast, drink a PBR.
And remember Fest.
Flip your boss off.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you later.
Gainesville, Florida. A friendly city of over 50,000, where the key to good living hangs on everybody's key ring.